this works this time, because I have tried at least 8 times now to fucking film this. And, I mean, you can probably notice there's a microphone, and the video quality is probably loads better than it was, because it's actually being filmed on a camera and not on a phone. I'm sorry that this review is so late. That is because I had to order these things. I mean, the audio, the microphone shit probably wasn't as necessary as the camera, because I'm sure that the camera's got a decent microphone in it. Like, I tested it in the car and it seemed like it picked me up pretty well, but whatever. But with my recent terrible luck with audio and video sync, I decided, why not? I'll get myself a microphone, and the rest is history. Let's go ahead and just get into this before I decide that it's just not worth it, okay? So anyway, today I'm going to be taking a look at Blue Waters by India R. Adams. It is a YA kind of romance, kind of... It fits a weird genre that I'll talk a little bit more about towards the end of the review, but it kind of a YA romance. It was alright. Like, honestly, overall opinion, it was alright. But I just want to say I'm so relieved it wasn't another Fate, because Jesus shitting Christ, have you fucking read Fate? Has someone watched at least like a couple of seconds of the Fate review? Finally. Like, when I was first freaking recording this, nobody had watched that review yet, but now at least one person has watched a couple of seconds. I haven't really checked how long they stayed. That's a freaking 2-minute review. And it's not that great, honestly. I just kind of ranted, but that's really all that review warranted. It didn't deserve... That book didn't deserve me doing it any favors. Yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling, and as you can tell, this is going to be kind of a rambly, ranty review. But most of that's going to be kind of neutral, so at least there's that. Let me actually start my fucking slideshow. Let's see here. So I'm just going to go ahead and come out and say it, since I just, kind of said it. This is a scripted review. Kind of scripted. Not fully scripted, mostly because I don't do well with the whole having to, type out a script, memorize that script, and deliver the script. Not when it comes to YouTube and cameras and shit. Like, I was on the speech team when I was in high school, and I was really pretty good at writing my own things and memorizing them and, making something interesting and actually, remembering all of what I had written. But not so much anymore. And I don't really care to try to do that every week. So I have a thing written, but it's not just going to be what's written that I talk about. So just bear with me. It's kind of a scripted review, kind of not. Honestly, when I was reading it, I was kind of debating whether this first point was a good thing or a bad thing, but considering I've enjoyed everything that I've read by the author that I kind of immediately compared this author to, I'm going to go ahead and put it as a good thing. At least the first couple of chapters are very, very, pretentious, for lack of a better descriptor. They read like John Green, if that helps, because that's kind of what I got. That's kind of how I read it, at least. Like, the first couple of chapters especially really read like John Green, and then it kind of tapered off, and you could kind of see the author's actual individual style, but then it came back a little towards the end. But it was actually kind of enjoyable. I mean, like I said, I've enjoyed everything I've read by John Green, so I mean, style similarity doesn't really, like, that's not gonna really bother me. Um, let's see here. When the teenagers are written well, the teenagers are written very well. Like, honestly, I fucking applaud ya, India. Because seriously, the fucking teenagers, like the slang, the inside jokes, particularly like the nicknames and shit, that was very, very. That felt very natural, very organic, and very, very teenager. And I really liked that. It's rare to actually see it's rare to actually see an author. I'm not fucking filming this segment again. No. I've filmed this stupid little bit like 8 times. I'm not doing it again. um, it's rare to see an author actually get teenagers like that fairly consistently. But we're not going to get ahead of ourselves with that. The pacing was pretty good. Like, up until the last couple of chapters, it was moving right along without really feeling rushed or, just annoyingly slow. Like, it felt like it was moving along at a fairly good pace. Like, I can't really think of another book to compare it to, but it felt fairly natural. Like, if that makes sense. I know a lot of what I fucking say doesn't really make a lot of sense. But, getting back to the fucking teenagers, the private nickname that Whitney had for Crash for the first, like, most part of the book, like, the first, like, half, the first majority of the book, like, the majority, like, beginning of the book, whatever. First 7 or 8 chapters, I don't know. Like, the fucking private nickname she had, anyway, for Crash was pretty fucking great. Like, that shit made me fucking laugh every fucking time. It was Lickable. Mr. Lickable. That was almost as great as Link's real name, but we're gonna get into that at the ass end of the review, or towards the ass end of the review, so just, hold your butts. One thing that I noticed, since I am such a grammar nerd, and, I am very, very, I'm such a typo, like, freak, that I will just, like, hone in on all the fucking typos and all the grammar issues that I notice. And I mean, I know I'm not the greatest with grammar, especially spoken grammar, but I do notice grammar issues quite a lot. It's just, I don't really know where it comes from. It's a gift, I guess. I should really be an editor, but I don't have the time. But the thing that I noticed, like, one thing I noticed that really actually made me happy and kind of nerd out was that judgment was spelt correctly. You don't see that very often, especially in indie books. You see it spelt, like, the word judge with meant jammed on to the end. Like, they don't take out the E. You're supposed to take out the E. It's supposed to be Judgement, not Judgement. No. You take and you jam all them consonants up next to each other and you make them play nice, damn it. But props for that actually being spelt right, considering the things I'm actually about to harangue the author for. Major props, India. Seriously, I've seen some really big name authors screw that up. Well, big name authors screw that up. The incest joke in chapter 8. Fucking, I was actually rolling around laughing to that shit. Like, laughing at that shit. It's not often that a book actually gets me laughing when it's intending to get me laughing. So fucking, props for that. Props. Seriously, mad props. Fucking, it's hard to get me laughing on purpose with your book. Like, with Fate, I was laughing continuously because I was just so frustrated with the fucking typos. With this, I actually, like, the entire exchange in Chapter 8 is just fucking gold, you guys. I would recommend this book just for Chapter 8. Unless you're easily offended, then maybe move along. But I mean, you know, if you're easily offended, what the fuck are you doing on my channel? You must be new here. But yeah, I laughed pretty fucking hard at that. That was chapter 8 was pretty great. I would definitely recommend the book just for that. But even as I'm recommending this book, I can't help but point out the flaws and the typos, which, honest to God, this one has to hold some kind of record for most typos noticed by me in a book that's had professional editing done on it. And yes, I checked. I checked on the fucking copyright info page. There's 2 listed, and there's still typos, like big typos, like typos that fucking Microsoft Word will catch. I actually fucking just Giazzo screen capped proof the other day when I was writing while I was waiting for this shit to ship. Fucking, I was writing and I fucking noticed I had written one of the fucking words that I chastised, you know, the author for in this script, you know, because I noticed it in the book and it was used wrong. I noticed that, and Word, wouldn't you know, had it underlined like, hey, did you mean this fucking word? And yeah, actually, I did mean that fucking word, but it was kind of nice that, you know, Word went ahead and just kind of, you know, proved my point. But anyway, I'm going to take a moment to talk about the mostly homophone homonym issues that I found that, you know, I might have been able to overlook if this was just an indie book without any editors, or, you know, with just like random friend or fan beta readers. But no, this one had professional editing done by at least 2 people. And these are things that like spell check won't always catch, but human eyes should. And at least one of these things is a thing that spell check will catch and say, hey, 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 motherfucker, did you fucking mean that? I don't think you fucking meant that. But, you know, that's just, it's what I notice. I don't really know why I notice this shit. You know, I don't really notice, I don't really know why my eyes are drawn straight to the typos. But we're going to take a moment to highlight this shit because, if nothing else, I want to make you cringe as hard as I cringed. So, the first one is in, I want to say it was either in chapter 1 or the preface, or, you know, what should have been the prologue. Thanks, Stephanie Meyer. Anyway, graciously. I think you meant gracefully? Like, I could be wrong. I will be the first to admit on this one I could entirely be wrong. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up the dictionary definition of graciously real quick, and I'll put it right here. Because personally, that sentence doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. No, not even having read the ending. Yeah, no, that still doesn't make sense. Let's pull up the definition of gracefully now, though. Yeah, I don't know, that makes a little bit more sense. But, I mean, I still could be wrong. In chapter 4, the wrong version of the word peaking is used. It piqued my interest that my interest had peaked by chapter 3, which was before I saw you misuse peak. I could honestly almost give that one a pass if, you know, again, there weren't so many fucking people's eyes on this project before it made it to the public eye. Because there are actually a lot of people I've noticed that don't realize that P-E-E-K is actually a word. They also don't realize that P-I-Q-U-E is a word, and all 3 of these words sound the same, at least in American English. But yeah, you misused, you meant P-E-E-K, I think. I'm pretty sure, because I'm pretty sure you had a character peeking. I don't know, I'll be editing this. I'm not actually looking at the screen grab right now. I'm not gonna search out or have a screen grab for this next one, so I don't know, because fuck you is that why that's why. Like seriously, I'm just, if I keep searching out these things, I'm gonna be here all night, and I want to get this review out as quickly as possible. But at some point in the book, there is an instance of the use Ralph being used in reference to tossing one's cookies, losing one's lunch, vomiting. Projectile vomiting is what I'm talking about here. And it was spelt wrong. I will admit that this is just a personal nitpick, because while Urban Dictionary is great, I mean, Urban Dictionary is fantastic as far as, trying to figure out what the fuck certain slang terms mean. Like, it's fantastic for that, but when it's a real world term and, it exists in dictionaries the way that, you're using it in your book, you should probably use the actual dictionary spelling. That just kind of, personal nitpick, but you spelt it RALF. That is a definition I could only find in Urban Dictionary. Like, that's a spelling I could only find in Urban Dictionary. RALPH, just like the name, is the actual dictionary spelling in multiple different English dictionaries for vomiting. Ralph. Also a name. Horrible name. I feel bad for people that are named Ralph. Your name is Vomit. That's sad, yo. The final one I'm going to touch on, though, is the one that actually pissed me off the most, and I'm going to put it right here. And that's honestly because, seriously, losing and loosing aren't even that similar. It's a mistake that I can honestly almost give a pass from people who are learning English as a second, third, or 12th language. But if English is your first language and you're out of high school and you no longer have, teachers jamming it down your throat that those are two different words, spell check. Fucking Microsoft Word spell check will fucking tell you, hey, you've used this word. We think you might be meaning this word, even if you actually have used the right word. But the problem is, in this instance, you didn't. Like, seriously. Like, I hate having to, nitpick so hard. I hate that I'm drawn to these goddamn typos. But fuck's sake. This is just making it easier for kids to read this shit and end up thinking that LOOSING is losing. That's not the word that fucking is. And that's just perpetuating teenagers using that word that way and making, cringeworthy fucking posts and graphics and shit on the fucking internet. And, like, honestly, I grammar and shit doesn't really matter that much in the real world. Like, I get that. But when your chosen profession is writing, you kind of honestly really need to look at this shit and actually figure it out before it gets to the public. That's not really acceptable, especially when there were that many people editing this. Like, again, if it was just like a standard indie published book with maybe a beta reader, maybe like one of those really, really expensive like Create Space editors, I could maybe understand some of these typos, like particularly these homonym homophone typos. But not to the extent that I found them. Like, honestly, there's not with that many editors, not with that many people's eyes looking at this shit before it actually made it to publishing. Like, before it actually made it to print, there were at least two other people's eyes, in addition to the author, looking at this. And y'all didn't catch these. Like, it's stuff like that that makes me want to go into editing. But I don't have the time or the patience. I mean, I would end up going book bitch on people, and that's just not a good way to run any kind of business unless you're running a book bitch YouTube video business. But yeah, you used the wrong losing word. But yeah, I went ahead and pointed those out. So the author, which I am about 99% sure is watching this, hello India, can go ahead and actually probably find those fairly easily in the manuscript if she wants, and change those up and upload a new version for publishing, and that would actually probably really make the book that much better. So but yeah, me and the author did kind of connect briefly during the making of this review. She initially found me on Instagram when I posted about this being my next review, and then she contacted me after I actually left my review of Blue Waters on Goodreads, and I now have the sequel, which I received in return for my honest review of Blue Waters. Like, I didn't like ask for it or anything, and it's not going to change my review of either book in any way. I review freely given books just as harshly or nicely as any other book. I mean, yeah. But anyway, I think that was all the bad. Uh-oh. Did I get rid of... Oh no, it killed off... It killed my funny. I had like 5 or 6 more slides. But anyway, I had the weird, which was mostly just me talking about Link's real name, for one, which, god damn it, I love names in young adult books. Like, I love names in the entirety of like the YA like overall genre thing. Like, I fucking love the names, like the weird ass names, the creativity. I love that shit. Like, completely no sarcasm here at all. I fucking love that shit because it's so creative. It's not like more mainstream adult books that I've read where the names are very, very boring, and, you know, Becky and Bobby and Biff and Tony and Tina, and, you know, like, you get really interesting names alongside, you know, the standards like Whitney, and then there's Link, whose real name is Reether. 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 Reether madness, Reether madness. Okay, is that seriously a real name? Like, okay, that's a question I really want to know. Like, I want to know the answer to that. I never Googled it or anything, just because the name makes me fucking laugh every fucking time I think about it. But seriously, his name is Reether. His name is fucking Reether. Reether. Fucking Reether. But yeah, Reether. Just fucking Reether. Reether. And seriously, it's shit like that that just makes me appreciate the YA like genre, because you don't see weird ass names like that in like more adult or even more like children's books. Like, you don't see anything like that in more child-oriented books. You'll see like ethnic names or, multicultural names or however you're supposed to say it now. You'll see names from other cultures and shit, but you won't see like weird names like Rether. And you won't generally see like the odd spellings of normal names like Kimberly with all the Y's and that awkward spelling of Lee that I always pronounce as Lay because that does not look like Lee to me. But yeah, it's one of the things I really, really appreciate about YA. And honestly, the only other thing that I found about this book that is that apparently there is a subgenre of book on Amazon for Kindle where it's just reluctant rich kids in love. This is a thing. This is apparently a thing. This is a thing that I've encountered 2 books in a row now. This is a thing. Like, how is this a thing? How is reluctant rich kids in love a genre of its own or a subgenre of its own? Like, last one was just like Russian mob and awkward foreign exchange student flavored. This one is more Russian mob and drug flavored. So if heroin overdoses are your brand of heroin, you might enjoy this book. I don't think I just gave anything away, but I might have. So I guess spoiler alert for what I just said. Yeah. It was honestly overall a good enough book. Like, if it was more my kind of style of thing, like if I was more into the really gushy, romantic-y, super fast romance things, then I might have liked it. But honestly, I felt it kind of rushed. Like, particularly the romance between Crash and Whitney, I felt it really kind of rushed, especially with all the, like, drama that ends up happening. I don't want to get too into it because this is going to be a really fucking long review if I keep fucking talking. But especially with the romance going on between Crash and Whitney, it felt kind of rushed. And I mean, that might partially just be because I'm used to fan fictions with, slow burn romance, which give me a good, fluffy, slow burn, and yes. But, if you're trying to just do a novella and you want to actually get everything in, I can see where that kind of pacing issue can, have come into, play. But it really just kind of it felt kind of rushed, like particularly the romance post what happens at the skating rink. Like, that it just felt kind of rushed and kind of out of place. And while I will admit the characters had chemistry, I don't think that they should have all rushed into things the way they did. And I think that actually might have, I don't know if that was intentional stupid teenager syndrome or if that's just the way the characters went, because I mean, I'm an author, I get that. I know how the characters will just kind of pull you off in a direction that you didn't intend to go originally, but yeah, it just that kind of felt rushed. That take from that what you will. Now don't fucking go anywhere, because I do have one more thing I want to talk about, guys, that's not really about this book. And that is just kind of the state of this channel. I'm getting rid of the book schedule that's on my Facebook page. You guys are going to find out about what books I'm doing when I do the review. And if you don't like that, I don't really know what the fuck to tell you guys. If I ever get to a point where I start up a Patreon, I might actually like make that a Patreon only thing where y'all get to know what the hell book I'm doing next or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, basically life's been kind of sucking lately, and I haven't had it in me to keep going with these random indie books where, you know, it's a crapshoot as to whether or not I'll actually enjoy any part of it. And yeah. So I'm going to be going through the end of October. There's going to still be new book reviews every week. They might be a little behind schedule. It might not be on Wednesdays, but they will get out every week. By the end of Sunday night every week, I will have some kind of a book review every fucking week until the end of October. Through November, like the entirety of November, I'm going to be taking the month off. There will not be any reviews in November, and then season 2 will start on the first Wednesday of December with probably my review of Black Waters, which is the sequel to this. I still don't really know what the fuck I'm going to review this week. It's probably going to be something I read a while back that I can just kind of remember and, you know, pull some info from my brain for. But, yeah. That's pretty much what's going on. I'm not going to be going anywhere. I'm not stopping videos at all. I just kind of wanted to let you guys know that for a while my video making will probably be a little bit less super awesome animated and probably be a little bit later than intended. I've been going through some tough shit recently, some really tough shit, and I just kind of need the, you know, freedom to do what I'm going to be doing when I want to do it. So, I mean, theme months might happen sooner than intended. Books that I didn't even mention I wanted to read or I was going to read might get read really, really soon. You know, eventually, you know, it'll be complete anarchy. People will be marrying animals. Dogs will be flying. Cats will be eating dead bodies. I don't fucking know. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys next week with something. Maybe Jenny Pox or something. I don't fucking know.